We've talked about stress multiple times on the show. I've spoken with Dr. Becky from Brand New Day Enterprises and licensed mental health counselor Beth Allen about it. Both of them have mentioned that stress is necessary for you to function at your best, but too much stress takes a mental and physical toll. If you're having too much stress lately, I know I've been there before, my next guest has some valuable information and services that you'll be very interested in hearing about. Greg, thank you so much for being on the show with me today.
My pleasure to be here, Jenna.
Now, before we get started, Greg, into what it is you do, just give us some more information, I guess, on your background.
I am a licensed massage therapist. I've been in practice since 1988, in Key West since 1991. So my expertise is in working with the soft tissue of the body as opposed to the bony structure. So ideally, my clients leave feeling more restful, revitalized, re-energized,
They just feel
and generally able to move easier.
They feel a heck of a lot better after they're done with you. Okay, tell me exactly what therapeutic massage and body work refers to.
Well, in the broad scheme of things, I personally view every massage as therapeutic. It's kind of a word tossed around, but in this day and age, everybody is overstimulated, or, lots of us are too busy. So even the most simple basic massage calms us down, slows down our nervous system, relaxes us, slows down the heart rate. So even those simple things are therapeutic, the way I look at it.
Okay.
That being said, there's a broad spectrum of depth of therapy and what you can accomplish in addition to calming the nervous system and just relaxing the superficial muscles. What I personally strive to do is release the tension in some of the deeper structures that reflexively contract in response to stress. By doing that, when those structures are under tension, it creates torque and internal tension that then inhibits our ability to move freely, reduces blood flow, impairs nerve flow, and even can impact how our organs function. So my goal is to relieve contraction and tension on those basic structures.
Okay, great. Now how is your work unique compared to some of the other massage therapists in town, Greg?
Well, as I alluded to, a lot of my focus in my sessions is actually more internal rather than considering the external tone of the muscles. I mean, I take that into account, but a lot of my focus is on relieving tension and stress on internal structures. Those might be suspensory ligaments, organs themselves, deeper muscles. And by working with those, it actually relieves and creates ease on the entire systems that then allow the external muscles to relax without having to work directly on the symptom, the external muscle, kind of getting more to the core of the problem.
Okay. Now, if someone wants your services, Greg, how many times do they have to visit you before they're healed?
Before they're healed? Well, obviously, there's a lot that goes into that. People feel better typically, before the session is even over. Each scenario is different. Depends on, most of us tend not to seek help when we first think that we might need it, that it might be useful, right? Say, oh, I'll get to it. Oh, it'll get better, it'll get better. Well, a lot of it depends on how long we keep telling ourselves it's going to get better without seeking some outside help.
Right. We have that pride.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. We're busy, we're whatever the case may be. So a lot of it has to do with that. It has to do with, our general health prior to the incident happening. whether it was a trauma. So there's a lot of variables involved with that.
Okay, so it just depends on the client and their situation.
Yeah, but typically people feel better, like I say, during the, before the session is even over, after the session. On occasion, people are like not too sure how they feel afterwards, and I tell them to walk down the block and back and give their body a chance to reorient and kind of adjust to the changes that have occurred during the session before they jump in their car or back on their bike into their kind of old familiar pattern, because we're kind of setting up the idea with their body that we want to create a new pattern, well, a new pattern that was probably, an older, more comfortable pattern at one time, and then as they have compensated for their recent injury or their recent whatever, their body has tweaked and torqued.
Okay. Now, do you have a tip for our viewers, Greg?
Tips, easy thing to do. I tell everybody, movement is the key to life. We all know what a stagnant pond looks like. It's kind of what happens to us. So, more movement. You got movement on one end. Movement creates circulation, stagnation on the other end. So anything you can do to create movement beyond what we normally use in the course of our typical day is a great thing.
Okay, so
swimming, yoga, stretching, any of that.
So if you're feeling that stress, get out there and move, right, Greg?
Get out there and move. It's the best and simplest thing you can do.
Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing all this information with our viewers this morning. And if they want to visit you, Greg, where exactly are you based?
I'm based in Key West at the White Street Healing Arts Center, 1217 White Street. And they can reach me via my phone or my website, which is returntobalance.com.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you again for sharing all of this with us this morning. And we're going to take a quick break right now, but I'll be back right after these messages. So stay with me, everyone.